Allison, two things sparked alarm inside U.S. intelligence and law enforcement. One, the repeated contacts between Trump campaign advisors and Russian officials, described to us as constant contacts, but also the level of those officials, senior-most advisors very close to the president who were in this regular communication. And these communications considered significant enough that both the then President-elect Trump and President Obama were briefed on it by the nation's senior-most spy leaders. Multiple sources tell CNN that senior advisors to Donald Trump were in constant communication with Russian officials during the 2016 campaign. U.S. intelligence intercepting repeated calls since last summer, raising red flags due to the frequency of communications and the high-level campaign advisors involved. Those advisors include former campaign chairman Paul Manafort and recently resigned National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. President-elect Trump and then President Barack Obama were both briefed on details of these extensive communications, according to U.S. officials familiar with the matter. Manafort, who has business ties with Russia and Ukraine, told CNN that he was not in contact with Russian officials during the campaign, calling the allegations, quote, boggling, and noting the FBI has not contacted him. Asked about possible contacts between Trump advisors and Russia, White House spokesman Sean Spicer gave this somewhat confusing answer on Tuesday.
And there's nothing that would conclude me that anything different has changed with respect to that time period.
But U.S. officials say the timing of the communications was alarming. The calls taking place while Russian hackers were targeting U.S. political organizations with cyber attacks meant to undermine the election.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing.
Paul Manafort addressed those concerns in July.
I mean, it's just absurd. I don't know anything about what you just said. You may know it, and if you do, then you ought to expose it. But to say you know, I don't even know what you're talking about. It's crazy. The fact that we're having this conversation is the wrong conversation.
Today, the Kremlin says reports of contact between them and Trump's team before the election are not based on any facts. Well, those July 27th comments by the president, or the nominee at the time, Donald Trump, calling on Russia to hack Hillary Clinton's emails, happening during the time period when these constant communications were taking place between his senior advisors in Russia. I should add, Allison, that you're going to have a meeting now between the new Secretary of State, Ray Tillerson, and his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, in Germany tomorrow. Lots for them to discuss.
Allison? Absolutely, Jim. Thank you for all of that reporting. So